You know, trans kids, this is it right here. That's the coach. Trans kids belong. They had a conversation together. They walked up to each other. They had the talk. And by the way, just so you know, we did not know this. I Googled to see which side Cheryl Reeve is on. She's actually a lesbian. Nothing wrong with that. But they're having a conversation here to the left. That's Sophie and her talking. Then the post-game interview, she's being interviewed, the coach, and the question is asked. And here's what the coach had to say of the opposing team. If you can go to what the coach had to say of the opposing team in the post-game interview.
Drop everything you're doing right now and listen closely. The world of women's basketball has reportedly been turned upside down overnight. According to the narrative, this could become one of the most explosive, legally significant, and emotionally charged disputes the league has ever faced. Behind closed doors, away from the cameras, Caitlin Clark reportedly reached her breaking point. For weeks, speculation surrounded the growing tension, the physical play, and what some described as disrespect toward the Indiana Fever. But no one, absolutely no one, expected what was reportedly said to have happened inside that locker room. According to the narrative, the situation has now escalated into a major legal battle. Reports circulating online claim that Caitlin Clark has finally broken her silence. The narrative further alleges that after coaches wore Trans Kids Belong shirts during a protest, the establishment directed its frustration towards Sophie Cunningham. However, according to these claims, they made one critical mistake. They underestimated Caitlin Clark's loyalty. Don't miss a single moment, because we're breaking down the reported lawsuit that has sparked nationwide discussion. The narrative claims these were the exact words Clark directed at staff members, along with an alleged ultimatum that reportedly sent the WNBA commissioner into crisis mode. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and stay with us as we examine the claims surrounding this developing story. According to the narrative, to understand how this legal dispute allegedly began, you have to look at Seattle. The atmosphere there was already described as deeply divided. The narrative claims that Seattle Storm coaches and others wore Trans Kids Belong shirts, turning the court into the center of a political debate. According to these allegations, however, the issue was never just about a shirt. It was about influence, control, and pressure on players to fall in line.
Things that, we have in common and maybe some things you differ on, just like any issues. And I think it's how you handle things. And so...
You can pause it right there. I want you to now watch what Caitlin Clark's
nice
coach had to say when she was questioned. This is Caitlin Clark's coach. Okay, go for it.
Your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports. What's your personal stance?
Watch her answer.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't.
Oh my.
No, but wait a minute. You got to keep playing it. Is this the only clip we have? Oh, okay.
I think that's it.
Because she says, I used to play with men when I was a kid. I always played with men when I was a kid. And she answers the question like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not this. I'm not that. And then the game's being played yesterday. Sophie Cunningham gets hit in the face by an elbow that pretty much almost like massive foul. They called the foul on her. I don't even know if we can even play this clip or not. If you
Shocking inside sources reportedly claim that when Sophie Cunningham refused to give in to pressure from opposing coaches, she immediately became public enemy number one. According to the narrative, the coaches turned against Sophie, launching what was described as a coordinated campaign to isolate her and damage her reputation. The claims describe relentless verbal criticism from the sidelines, allegedly biased officiating, and opposing coaches directing harsh comments towards Sophie every time she touched the ball. According to the narrative, the goal was to break her spirit and make an example of her in front of the entire country. The story further claims that league executives remained silent while the Indiana Fever's enforcer was subjected to intense criticism. They allegedly believed Sophie was on her own and viewed her as an easy target. However, according to the narrative, they overlooked one important fact. Sophie has been portrayed as one of the strongest supporters of the league's biggest star. And when someone targets the protector, the superstar is expected to respond in ways no one anticipated. According to the narrative, the breaking point finally arrived during what was described as one of the most dramatic locker room incidents in professional sports. After what the story characterizes as a game filled with targeted harassment towards Sophie from the opposing bench, the Indiana Fever returned to the locker room. The atmosphere was reportedly tense. Sophie, who is often described as handling adversity with a smile, was said to be visibly shaken by what the narrative calls an extraordinary level of disrespect from opposing coaches. For months, the story claims Caitlin Clark stayed silent. She allegedly absorbed the hard fouls, ignored the criticism, and focused on playing basketball. But, according to these reports, seeing her loyal teammate pushed to the limit became the final straw. Witnesses reportedly said the room fell completely silent as Caitlin Clark stood up. According to the narrative, she didn't simply speak. She erupted. The story claims Clark walked to the center of the room, confronted management and league officials, and was visibly shaking with anger.
problems that we have in our society, we have to still play this trans kids belong. And listen, I pray for those people. I pray for those people that are confused. My heart goes out to them. I literally pray all the time. Like, let them figure it out. Talk to somebody that's gonna do it instead of them patting you on the back and saying, you know what, take your breast off or chop your penis off. And the majority of those people have freaking depression and they wind up killing themselves, or if not, they wind up shooting up places and they call us transphobic. Give me a freaking break. Shut down the WNBA. Where's the money coming from? Name me a company that loses $40 million a year and people still put up with this. And mind you, Caitlin Collins is your superstar.
Caitlin Clark,
Caitlin Collins, whatever, potato. That's how much, Adam.
Well, technically, if you can't do potato in the NBA, then
exactly. But Adam, think about this.
She got you new TV and sponsorship deals, and that money is being used to pay the players, and now you don't need her.
And great point, Tom. Are you ready for this, Adam? They hate her because she's white. She's the nastiest player in the league, and everybody, the coaches, the refs, the players, all hate on her because she's a white star, and she had to bend the knee too. I'm done with the WNBA, bro. I'm tired of it. Is that bad? I'm furious. No, am I wrong, man?
So where are you at with this?
I'm just, Vinny, I mean this sincerely. Thank you for coming over.
Finally, you got me.
Thank you. Just stay out of
FYI, just so you know, that's not happening. The first team in WNBA just got $1 billion valuation. Yeah. The revenue's up to $500 million. They're not profitable yet, so it's not like they're making money now. But Vinny, there is no way this thing's going away because the simple fact.
According to the narrative, nobody could believe what happened next. The story claims Clark grabbed a clipboard and slammed it against the lockers with tremendous force while shouting across the room. It portrays her as doing more than defending Sophie. It alleges she openly challenged the entire coaching establishment. Insiders reportedly claimed Clark shouted that they had allowed Sophie to be targeted, let opposing coaches cross the line, and failed to step in. According to the narrative, she declared, "She takes every hit for this franchise, and I'm not going to sit here and watch this league destroy her." The story further claims that the officials in the room were left stunned. However, according to the narrative, Clark wasn't finished. It alleges she looked directly at league executives and delivered a statement that sent shockwaves across the basketball world. Rather than simply speaking and leaving, the narrative claims she took an even stronger stand. It also alleges that, within 24 hours of the reported confrontation, the situation escalated when news spread that Caitlin Clark's legal team had officially become involved.
With me, man. They were upset. I was surprised. Some people liked the take. Other people were upset with the take. You know, and listen, Kelsey was hot. I'm not saying that. But it's frustrating to never get the ball when you're open in half court. And I mean never. Venom Reacts noticed it. Man, we got to get you over to the Caitlin Clark zone, Venom. Venom noticed it. He saw it. He always sees it.
Like, look at this, man. They got raped.
Yeah, Venom always does solid breakdowns. Awful coaching-esque breakdowns of these Indiana Fever games, really exposing some things that we all talk about and exposing things that maybe a lot of us haven't seen. So shout out to Venom as well.
Raven Johnson bringing it up. CC's relegated.
As soon as Raven Johnson was in the game, you knew that it was over.
To the left wing. This is sad. Stephanie White, like, this is sad, man. Caitlin Clark, like, even look at the way Caitlin Clark walked away from Aaliyah when Aaliyah tried to talk to her. Like, look right here. Look at Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin right here. Aaliyah tries to talk to her, and Caitlin turns to her left side like, girl, stop talking to me right now. Get ass, stop talking to me. I don't want to hear shit you guys say right now. I'm just being honest. Stop talking to me. Like, I like this, though. I like this. Because all the stuff that I'm saying now is starting to come to the light.
Cece, stop trying to be friends with everybody. Let them know. Let them know we ain't doing this hub BS. You're the hub. You're the engine. You're not wheels. You're not an exhaust. You're not a hubcap. You're not headers. You're not cams. You're none of that. You are the engine. You are the actual engine itself. The V12 of the Indiana Fever, not the hub. Let them know, hey, we're cool, but we ain't that cool. I'm gonna need that rock.
According to the narrative, Caitlin Clark is reportedly considering legal action against opposing coaches and even the league over allegations of targeted harassment, a hostile work environment, and emotional distress involving Sophie Cunningham. The story presents the situation as completely unprecedented, a rookie superstar allegedly preparing for a major legal battle against the very league in which she plays. It further claims that Clark's attorneys have sent a strongly worded cease and desist letter to Seattle coaches and the league commissioner. According to the narrative, the warning included in that legal communication was especially direct. The story claims Clark's message to the league was simple: do not target Sophie again, do not touch her, do not speak to her, and do not try to humiliate her on my court. If you do, I will fight this league through every legal avenue available and challenge the establishment step by step.
As a hill they're willing to die on. We've talked about this. We all have our hills. The WNBA has basically said, this is the hill we're willing to die on, because the L, the G, the B has been grouped in with that T, and they need to basically protect that T. And in the NBA, because I'm the local NBA guru over here, we know, they say, you live by you say you live by the 3 and you die by the 3, right? So the women of the NBA are gonna die on this hill if it's the last thing they do. And they're not double dribbling. They're doubling down on this nonsense. And at this point, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm sitting there eating my popcorn, just being like, you have this generational talent, Caitlin Clark, and you're running her out of the league. And you have this beautiful person, Sophie Cunningham, who's basically saying, listen, I'm just a normal person. I'm not political. I just don't want dudes in the locker room with me. And they elbow her in the face and they go, that's a foul on you. Yeah, shut your mouth.
Oh, God.
So I don't believe they're doubling down, Adam, but here's why. You're right, but I disagree on this angle. There's never been DEI that's been a special program brought into the WNBA. Never has. It was the culture from day one. Their culture was this. Well, this was the culture.
I don't mean this disrespectful. They're all lesbians. A lot of them are lesbians.
The point is, DEI was brought into certain companies and they faked it and they put up programs. We have a DEI program. Mm-hmm. They had DEI DNA. This was it since the beginning. And what you are seeing is a culture clash with
According to the narrative, the WNBA is now facing one of its most difficult moments. The story claims the Seattle coaches who allegedly targeted Sophie Cunningham could face serious legal consequences, along with intense backlash from millions of Caitlin Clark supporters. It further alleges that league officials are scrambling to contain the growing controversy before it causes lasting damage to women's basketball. According to the narrative, the story has spread nationwide, appearing across major media outlets and generating widespread discussion online. The narrative claims many fans are praising Caitlin Clark, describing her as an exceptionally loyal teammate who is willing to risk her career to defend Sophie Cunningham from what they characterize as ongoing harassment by opposing coaches. At the same time, the story alleges that league executives and coaches are deeply concerned about what could happen next. According to the narrative, they believe Caitlin Clark has enormous influence within the league. The story claims that if she were to move forward with legal action, or if she chose not to return to the court until significant changes were made, the WNBA could lose a substantial number of fans and face serious challenges moving forward.
Well, that Caitlin Clark actually got some calls last game. So I'm sure the officials saw that, and they made sure today that she didn't get any calls and she didn't shoot many free throws. That was the thing today. You refs got to stay off Twitter, man. You're so reactive in this league, man. What a league this is, man. But yeah, this was all game. And I get there at home and I get that, if you call that every time, all Minnesota's guards will file out in the first quarter. But still, to never call it is the opposite way. And I'm not talking about just fouls, I'm talking about to never call this. This is a foul, okay? If that's Olivia Miles, that's a foul. Olivia Miles is a rookie. Hasn't paid her dues. Doesn't have to mention Cheryl Swoops.
That's true. If the roles were reversed, we're calling a foul on this. And I think that's everybody's biggest gripe. If this wasn't called by any across the board, fine. But the fact that it's such a double standard, maybe not double standard, the fact that there's such hypocrisy involved, it's like, all right, well, we're going to call fouls here. No, I think double standard is the right word. The fact that we're going to call fouls when it's Caitlin Clark playing defense, but we're not going to call fouls when they're playing defense like this on Caitlin Clark, well, that's the issue. We need it to be fair across the board.
And all the veterans, Cynthia Cooper and Teresa Weatherspoon, every time she opens her mouth, she's not required to do that. And she hasn't even paid her dues yet.
According to the narrative, this has become the ultimate showdown, a superstar taking on the league's coaching establishment. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Caitlin Clark's reported actions represent standing up for her teammate, or do you believe the situation has been exaggerated? We'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with other basketball fans, and subscribe for more WNBA news, analysis, and updates. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.